Hello, good evening. Welcome to a Monday night review episode of the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, joined by Keith Hadley, Things Up podcast. Fellas. First Monday show after a dub. How you guys feeling?
Much better.
Look, I'm darn near ready to bust a shimmy off this one, man. What you talking about?
These Mondays feel a little bit warmer and a little bit brighter coming after a win, right? Coming after a win. Definitely. Well, as we get ready to get into tonight's show, I want to quickly say thank you to everybody for joining us, locking in. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone here on the Black College Sports Network. However, and wherever you're watching the show, you could be watching us on Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page, My JBN Online. Also watching on the Black College Sports Network Facebook and Twitter feed, as our ONG Strike Zone feeds as well on YouTube and on Facebook. You're watching us on X. I got us in all kinds of places, fellas. So also watching us on Things Up podcast as well. Got that link streaming as well. So hello to everybody, and most importantly, hello to everybody that showed love over the weekend in Tallahassee. We were all there, so it was good to see everybody. Those who we saw, those who maybe saw us, but we didn't see you. From the heart, we were saying peace to you, and it was good to see Rattler Nation in Tallahassee. So, shout out to any particular individual. Shout outs. Anybody that you ran into that you want to make sure you shout out, Kelvin and then Keith?
Well, I want to shout out the other Kelvin Dean.
Yes, exactly. I did see Kelvin Dean.
He passed by and spoke and was was at the game on the sideline supporting his teammates, so former teammates. So shout out to him.
Yeah. How about you, Keith?
Yeah, I want to make sure I shout out the fellow FAMU prognosticators, man. A lot of times we have people just show up to games and talk, and but it's very seldom do you get so many of us that do talk about a team that show up in person, and don't just show up in person, but also meet and greet, hang out with each other, fellowship. So, I was hanging out with Fat Mouth Sports and hung out with Tashay a little bit. Of course, Kelvin, hung out with you and Bryan. So it's always great to be able to see everybody come in together and just, not just talk about it, but go see it and go support it as well.
Let me shout out Coach Jefferson too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got a chance to holler at him and the family, man. Good to see you. Thank you for supporting the show.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to all of our JBN subscribers as well, like Marcus and others. All you Rattlers who come in and support. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like button if you will, and go from there. So, unlike the Wednesday show, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the shout outs because we're here for a good time, not a long time. I will, if I see you, I'll make sure to shout you out. I'll put on the little comments, the in-stage comments. Hopefully you guys don't get too ridiculous and I have to cut it off, but we'll put it in there. Hey, so the Rattlers get a home opening win, 33-25 over Albany State. Head coach Quinn Gray leading the Golden Rams back into Tallahassee. His first time as the head coach, or I should say really coaching on the visitors' sideline. Of course, Coach Gray was a former assistant coach. Which he was under, was that under Earl? Was that under previously under Earl?
Yes,
yeah,
under OC.
Earl, yeah, when he was the OC. And then, Quinn went on to be, I believe, an OC at Alcorn, then kind of been the head coach at Lincoln High, and then became the head coach at Albany State. So, he is taking the steps to get to that next level. But he has a very good ball club, and they are preseason #1 in the SIC for a reason. And I think you all saw that in this ball game. Well, it was some first that we had in this ball game. First point scored in the first quarter for FAMU as we managed to get a field goal in the first quarter. First touchdown in the first half as well, as FAMU got a touchdown in the second quarter. Overall, FAMU put up 450 yards of total offense in the win over Albany State. The statistics kind of speak for themselves. As a team passing, FAMU passed for 371 total yards and 91 rushing yards, compared to we held Albany State to 321 yards of total offense. They had 201 passing, 120 rushing. The penalties were one of those sore spots for us, as FAMU had 11 penalties for 102 yards. Albany State only had 6 for 42. We had 26 first downs to their 21. Third downs, kind of interesting, because it seemed like early in the ball game, Albany State was the group that was maximizing the third downs. But in total, they were 6 of 11 on third downs. We were 9 of 14 on third down. And I think a large portion of that came on the big drive, which we'll get into in a minute. On fourth down, we were 1 for 1. They were 0 for 1. Time of possession, FAMU 34-58, Albany State 25-02. Early on, Albany State came out, punched us in the mouth. 11-play drive, 77-yard score to go up 6-0. They missed the extra point attempt, which kind of left the score 6-0. We came back on the ensuing drive, 6 plays, 42 yards. We ended up having to settle for a field goal, but it was a 48-yard field goal by Daniel Porto, cut the deficit to 6-3. Moving into the second quarter, Albany State would end up getting another touchdown on a really impressive drive, which they really pushed us. They played a lot of no huddle, and when they combined the no huddle with the tempo, which they did on this second scoring drive, they had us on our heels, and they pushed us 4 plays, 59 yards in 59 seconds.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
Yeah, to go up 14-3. Kind of had cheeks tight at that point. There was a lot of folks who were nervous. Some cheeks were tight at that point. Second quarter, we saw Jet Petty get into the ball game. It was sort of pre-discussed.
The quarterbacks knew that. Yeah,
the quarterbacks knew it. RJ Johnson started. I think he pretty much went the first quarter. I think he was supposed to go the first 2 series, which pretty much took up the first quarter. Then in the third drive, which kind of started in the second quarter, Jet Petty got his opportunity, and I believe on his opening drive, he led FAMU on a 13-play, 67-yard drive. Thad Franklin got the first rushing touchdown of the season, a 4-yard run, cut the deficit to 14-10. Also, late in the first half, we had an opportunity. There were some moments there where it was we were about to run a 2-minute offense. Petty hits a receiver in the hands, literally goes through his hands, ends up being intercepted by Albany State. We hold Albany State. They end up, I can't recall here, did they go for a field goal and miss, or did they go for was a turnover on that?
They did miss field goal.
Okay, so they missed the field goal, which could have pushed them up 17-10. Worst case, hey, they could have scored. But in missing the field goal, we got the ball back. Weren't really able to do anything much with it. But at that point in the game, we knew we were getting the ball back. So it was sort of a win in that moment. Let's hit on the first half for a minute, fella, because I think there's a
because you missed something important there.
Well, I'm sure I did.
The pass that pass right before the half that the receiver, the tight end, that Jet hit, and he ran it down to the 1, and they called it back on a blindside block in which the block was behind the play, first of all. And second of all, it was not a blindside block. The guy looked at him when he hit him. So
it was tomfoolery, cuz tomfoolery.
Yeah,
they were
you're
sucking and
referring to the
jiving.
play to Miles Campbell. And man, he was hauling tail. And then I think it was Kanari Wilcher who came from the it would have been from the FAMU sideline. So it was he was behind Campbell to his left.
Right.
And he just closed the angle off. He didn't push.
Right.
He got in front of him. I wish I would have had the video of it. You're holding you disagree, Keith? You disagree?
Oh, no. Mike Evans just made a catch, Doc. I'm a Buck fan. Come on, Doc.
That's all right. That's all right. He pushed off. Pushed off, though. He pushed off like a mug, though.
I mean, they were letting it slide on the pass interference side because that deep route.
They called pass interference on him. See, look, I knew he pushed off. I just looked up for a hot second. He pushed off like a mug. But anyway, so Kanari Wilcher ends up cutting him off, and they call him with a block, and it was
horrible. It was
horrible call.
And
so at that point, that kind of snuffed that drive out, which I mean we easily could have scored and should have probably scored on that drive. But go to the first half. First half comments. RJ Johnson opened the game. Jet Petty came in the second quarter. What did you see there in the first half?
Well, for me, one of the things I mentioned that I wanted to see was us get off to a quick start, because we don't do that, and that didn't happen. We got off to the same slow start, and Albany State got off to the quick start. That first drive was a beauty, and they converted 3 third downs. We were stopping them on first and second down, but they converted the first 3 third downs. So that was concerning. And we did a pretty good job of neutralizing their run game in that first half. We struggled a little bit more with the passing game. But I thought we competed. From an offensive standpoint, we moved the ball a little bit, but the first 2 series, I think the plays may have been more scripted. And we ran a lot more, because RJ was like 3 or 4 in his first 2 drives, but that's all we threw the ball was 4 times in the first 2 drives. So we was more run focused. And I get it, because Albany State was small up front.
Mm-hmm.
And it did come into play in the second half. They were just out of gas. That was some of my notes. But I thought there were some things that translate with this game. The first thing is having a W, so you feel good, right? I feel good. So I know the players, the coach, that's big money off your back. 2, Albany State is a really, really good team. I try to, warn folks, hey, this whole D2, D1 thing, when D2s are really good, they can be competitive. Ask Grambling. They went in overtime against Kentucky State, the same Kentucky State team that Albany beat last week by 28.
But that was in the fourth quarter, though. They had to work for that. It wasn't an easy dub.
No, it was tied. It was tied at halftime, right? It was tied, 24-24, I think, at half. And then they shut them out in the second half. But still, they blew them out at the end of the day. So the D2 teams have shown they have talent. They can compete. And Albany did a good job of competing. Quinn had him prepared. I thought he had a really good game plan. And we talked about the tempo. And the only other observation I have concerning that first half specifically was when Jet entered the game. We're down 14-3. Albany had just scored. The players already knew the third series in the game that Jet was coming in. And for us to immediately answer after they going up 14-3, that was huge. That calmed everybody down. And I think, put Albany State on their heels for the first time because I don't think they were prepared for Jet. The play calling is a little bit different when Jet's in there, and he's pretty decisive. He's real quick with his throws. He gets the ball out of his hand. So that was a beautiful drive, by the way. And nice change of pace, frankly. I think we got two capable quarterbacks with slightly different skill sets at this time, especially considering, how, the playing time that they've had in the college level, right? So I think one is a little bit more quicker with the reads than the other, but they both can get the job done. And that stood out. But the bottom line for me was, I told you, I didn't care if it was 10 or 2. We needed the dub. We got the dub. So, I'm not going to complain yet.
Keith, first half thoughts from what you saw.
I mean, first half, much like Kelvin kind of mentioned, we talked about the tempo, and I think honestly that's part of the power of just watching film. Like, you kind of watch that film against FAU, and that's something we said last week here. Like, in this space, we said the question is how many teams can run a hurry up offense similar to what they showed at FAU. I think FAU showed something to a lot of teams, not just everybody in the SWAC, but Albany State saw something and was like, hey, we can run this offense and run our offense. And so I think that was something that really stuck with me, much like Kelvin, those first 2 drives with RJ. I was a little frustrated. I do see where the offense is much more limited. I mean, the first play of the game is pretty much scripted. It's the same play every time, right? It's a screen, he throws to the right. We saw that at FAU, he completed it. We saw that in Tallahassee, Albany State, he completed it. So, kind of looking forward, you're looking for a short pass within 5 to 10 yards for his first pass, right? I mean, that's all. That's what we've seen. That's what the film says. But as the game went on, I did get more encouragement. I still feel Jet's a better quarterback just because I do feel like the offense flows better. I felt like we had fewer holding penalties. We had fewer infractions. The play calls seemed to come in quicker. We weren't kind of as late in the time clock as far as getting plays in and everyone getting set, where you can see times where we still had confusion with RJ in there. And that's my personal opinion. I'm not bashing anybody, but just thinking going forward, I think going in the first half, that touchdown that Thad ran in was huge, because if you don't score there, you probably don't win this game, just because it wasn't a blowout, 33-25, something like that. Like, if you don't score there, Albany State, they had all the sauce. Like, when I say sauce, they had all the juice. Like, I don't know how many people were on the sidelines or on the field or close to their fans, but they was talking cash money. Like, they had a whole chant going on. And, part of the reason Bragg was rocking was because they brought their fans with them. Yeah. And
shout out,
we made them believe. We gave them hope. And that's something going forward, man, that, kind of like Kelvin, I'm probably a little more concerned. I'm less on a chill vibe because I know what's coming. I see what's coming. And in 2 weeks, man, hey, we got to have an offense that can score. And if you can't score in the 30s, I got questions.
Yeah.
One of the big themes in the first half that showed its head was drops. There were some drops that hurt Petty in that second quarter. Of course, none bigger than the interception, which, I mean, a beautifully thrown ball right into the receiver's right in his hands. I mean, the receiver did what he was supposed to do, which is go out and extend for it. But I don't know whether it was just too hot to handle, but it just went right through his hands.
That's a receiver who's trying to tough it out right now, Bryan.
I didn't put his name out there. I didn't put his name out there.
I didn't put his name out there either. Look, again, I know his family, so it's not one of those things where with that one he's trying to tough it out. So when it's something personal to me, I own it. But I know the kid's people. He's trying to tough it out. I questioned at the beginning of the season going in, should he play this early? So it's not me trying to be biased or anything. I was straight up. I was like, I wouldn't play him until the Alabama State game personally. Well, just let him heal.
That drop, and then there was a couple others, and then that would be a theme that would rear its ugly head, especially in the third quarter. But let's move over. Once we come out of halftime, FAMU gets the ball. And what I love about the first play, third quarter, a quick strike from RJ Johnson, who's back in to start the quarter. First and 10, ball on the FAMU 29-yard line, and boom, one play hits Kanari Wilcher on a quick slant route and pew, right down the middle of the field, untouched, nobody blocking, nobody getting in the way this time. And he scores a 71-yard touchdown in 11 seconds flat. And just like that, FAMU grabs a 17-14 lead.
That was huge. That's everything we said we need, Bryan. Isn't that literally give the ball to your players in space?
Hey, and after that play, Club Bragg was officially open.
It was hot, baby. That felt almost like homecoming.
Yeah,
it was on. I mean, I can tell you, and the crazy part is, I don't, if you were in the stadium, I don't know what it looked like. I've seen the videos, obviously, on the field or in the stands. I will tell you from up in the press box, it looked pitch black, and it was cool. But I just kept worrying. I was like, can anybody see anything down there? What's going on down there? But I mean,
yes, you can.
Well, I'll tell you, it was electric.
It was amazing. It was like a club. It was amazing.
Well, let me just say this since we're talking about it. So I want to give 2 shout outs. First, Albany State, their fans and their band, they represented, they came out in numbers, man. They added to that environment. But shout out to FAMU. The game day experience was awesome. They opened the gates up 2 hours early, didn't have any issues that I saw there.
I didn't see any, no long lines, right?
No long lines. I didn't hear complaints about the concessions and the light show, man.
And we got a lot of what we asked for, cuz. I mean, look, the Rattler charge was on point.
Yeah.
That was
we did
fire.
Video. Yeah,
did a video.
Yeah.
That was fire. Like the light show was fire. We missed, you missed the DJ a little bit, but that was still on point. Look, Bryan, you got what you wanted. You did. Did you get one? Did you get one? They handed out programs at the football game for the low price of $3.99.
Was it the same program that was in the press box?
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, so then I got that. Matter of fact, let me see
look, I'm telling you. Look, we got a lot of what we asked for. A lot of what we up here talking about as prognosticators, we got. Yes, sir.
Game ops was pretty good.
Yeah,
man. I gotta give props. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, the only issue is I don't know who's doing the accounting, but you can't tell me there was 14,000. What? 230? No. I'm sorry. I need a recount. I'm gonna be like, I need a recount, because if they're saying that the official numbers were 14,000 to something, I disagree. It looked like there was at least minimum 18,000 in there.
Did they properly count the students is a question I have.
Or the bands and
I don't know.
Recruits.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
So but it was rocking.
Yeah, no. I mean, so I'm told that attendance consisted of tickets sold, the marching 100 members and staff, visiting team band members and staff, FAMU and visitor team coaching volunteers, athletic university staff. I still don't know.
I don't see students on there. That's why I say I question how many students, because the student side was the students was rocking. Look, Zach Ansley wasn't even over there, and they were still showing out.
Yeah, if they needed to count the students, I don't know how you do that, but that would have been impressive. So FAMU finally gets a lead, 17-14 on the ensuing kickoff. Boom! FAMU special teams comes up with a big play, forces a fumble on the ensuing kickoff. FAMU gets the ball on their own on the Albany State 36-yard line. Just like that, and you're thinking this place is going to go bananas at this point. We do score 5 plays, 36 yards on a Jamal Haley 12-yard pass from RJ Johnson. FAMU's up 23-14. We botched the extra point attempt, so we're unable to go up 10, which that was big at the moment. But it was good to see at that point, with 12:03 to play, that we had jumped on them and had gained the lead. So essentially, if you look at it, that's 3 consecutive scores by FAMU. I mean, we were down 14-3. Now we're up 23-14. So, 3 consecutive scores by FAMU at that point. Albany State would manage to come down and get a 38-yard field goal on a 9-play, 39-yard drive in the third quarter, cut their deficit to 6 points, 23-17. And then FAMU would come back with another 10-play drive, 69 yards. Daniel Porto with a 23-yard field goal. So essentially, we were right on the, let me see, 23, 13, 7. So we were inside the 10-yard line, and we end up settling for a field goal to go up 26-17. That's the end of the third quarter.
That the field?
Not quite.
Is that the field goal where they called a penalty and then forgot to say the field goal was good, and the referee announced that the field goal was no good when we all watched it go right through the bar? And
that was in the first quarter. That was the first quarter.
That was so confusing.
That was the first quarter. Imagine trying to call that. We called that. Look, I'm calling it in the box, and we're like, okay, we saw the guy throw a flag. We saw him do this, and then all of a sudden, you come back and they say the field goal was good. I'm like, huh? What just happened? Yeah, that was in the first quarter. That was the first quarter field goal.
Yeah.
And going into the fourth quarter, I thought as we reminded, and I want to get this drive right because I thought the defining drive for FAMU started with 2:59 in the third quarter, backed up all the way to the 1-yard line.
Yes, sir.
After a beautiful punt by Albany State. They did a great job on the punt to pin us into the 1. Okay. And I thought this was a defining. What'd you say?
That was a good punt.
No, it was a great punt. The special teams did a great job because I think it bounced on the 3, and the Albany State special teams player had to actually do a great job of not stepping into the end zone and then kind of downing it at the 1.
Even though I question whether he maneuvered that, it was really close, though.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, here we go. Now, 1st and 10 on our own 1-yard line. We're in the shotgun. Of course, we're not going under center. It's RJ as the quarterback. Jamal Haley is in the backfield. First down is a 1-yard run by Haley. Second down, right? This is where it got tight. Second down and 9 on the 2. RJ is in the shotgun. He drops back, and it looked like he was like a half a second away from getting sacked, which would have been a safety, but he managed to fight his way and get the ball across the goal line by literally a half.
Don't skip
ball.
leg day. You can't skip leg day. That like literally RJ right there. I'm telling you right now, the strength and conditioning team and the media team need to have RJ doing leg squats and doing leg day prep and have a thing that says don't skip leg day. Because from field level, he literally pressed his way out of there and stuck the ball out. I was sitting there at the goal line. I was like,
how? Yeah, I was on it. I thought it was going to be
I thought he was dead. I thought it was a safety. I thought it was a safety.
I think different
brings up
refs
3rd and 10.
I think a lot of different refs would have made it safety too.
You might be right. Well, if you, let's not. You're gonna get me. Get us in trouble. The way they were talking, the way they were blowing the ball dead in some other places. I mean, that one was close. The ball was literally on the half-yard line.
Yeah.
3rd and 10. RJ hits Jamal Haley coming out of the backfield on a little wheel route. He was wide open. 14 yards, move those chains, first down FAMU, and we would and that would be the catalyst for what would turn out to be an 18. I thought it was 19, but the official stats say it was 18. An 18-play, 99-yard drive that chewed up 10 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock, exclamated by a Thad Franklin 5-yard touchdown run. just sucked the life out of Albany State right there. FAMU goes up 33-17 with 7:24 to play, and essentially that's ball game, gentlemen. That's ball game. I mean, that was
Albany State scores late.
I can't talk enough about that drive, and it was a big drive, and I don't know, feeling really good about that.
The longer that drive went, the more Albany D line and linebackers had their hands on the hips. That took whatever energy they had, that drive took it out of them.
Yep. Yeah. And some of that's the benefit of having a Thad Franklin size running back in there. I mean, I don't know how many times, realistically, you can't expect a Joker to run through 20 tackles every play. But, I mean, you had times where it was Thad Franklin and he was carrying 3-4 Jokers. And he's, eventually does wear down a little bit. But considering, listening to Colsey's, remarks today and kind of seeing where you only have one starting offensive lineman in there. And that Joker got penalties, versus the other 4 or 5,
And he didn't have Bo Somerset.
Didn't have Bo Somerset. I mean, so it's kind of interesting to see, I saw somebody, put out there, man, you sitting players and you still winning. That's a different outlook on the game right there. And that's an appreciation that I can take, because I know personally, I was like, hey, do you play Thad? And you're glad you did in the moment, but man, it's an interesting time, and to see that and still pull out a win against a quality team. I ain't gonna say they're great, but quality, that's solid.
Very, very quality. Yeah.
Just looking at that 99-yard drive, we had a couple of big runs in that. We had an RJ rush for 10 yards on a 3rd down and 10. On a 3rd down and 19, RJ hits Andrew Ritter for 15 yards.
That's my boy.
Then on a 3rd and 8, we get a pass interference called against Albany as RJ was trying to hit Miles Campbell. Then we had another 2nd down, 2nd down and 8, which we got another 1st down, RJ to Kanari Wilcher. Then on 3rd and 8, we had RJ to Armand Burris for 23 yards. Got the benefit of another unsportsmanlike penalty. Well, no, that was after the score. I'm sorry. But no, I mean, just big plays on that drive that really made the difference. I mean, I thought it was an impressive all the way around drive. So Albany State did happen to get one final score against us with 4:24 to play on an 8-play, 65-yard drive. Cut the game. They got the 2-point conversion, so it cut the deficit 33-25. But we did a good job of sealing the win. FAMU comes away with the win on that. When we come back after the short break, we're going to talk about maybe some of the offensive and defensive standouts, and also get into a couple topics that are coming out of this contest, because as Kelvin and Keith have both talked about, we're seeing a 2-quarterback system right now. And it brings up, I know there's a lot of debate. You guys in the chat room are debating it. All the Rattler Nation's debating it. Everybody but the coaching staff and Coach Colsey. But it does bring the question up, how often, is a 2-quarterback system is very rare. People like to use the adage, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you have none. But we might actually have 2 quarterbacks. And, it's just a thought. I mean, we're going to talk about it on the other side, because it's a lot to unpack, and FAMU's got a bye week coming up. So you'll get to hear Kelvin and Keith's thoughts on this particular system. Obviously, we want to hear you guys in the chat, so feel free to get your comments in there. But hang tight with us. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone Monday Night Review, FAMU versus Albany State. We'll come back right after these words on Black College Sports Network.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone Monday Night Review. FAMU with a 33-25 victory over Albany State. Bryan, Kelvin, and Keith Hadley of Things Up podcast here. All right, fellas, let's get into, while we got a little bit of time here left, and let's get into the big topic, big debate from the offensive side of things. Two big questions, okay? And I think the most glaring thing has to be the two quarterback debate. RJ Johnson has been the starter. He has been the selection by Coach James Colsey. But we've seen Jet Petty in some, maybe not so good moments against FAU, good moments against Albany State. And it is a source of much debate and conversation. So, Kelvin, are we a two-quarterback team? Can we be a two-quarterback team and still accomplish the goals that we all see for FAMU?
I think we're going to have to be. Well, we get into conference play at this point, and we won't get away with some of the things we've gotten away with the first game and the first couple of games. And we starting off the bat with maybe the hottest team or the most dangerous team next week in conference play with Alabama State. We know they can put up points. They have a 2 or 3 quarterback just like Albany, who a little bit more polished, and he got a little bit more around him from a line, running back, receiver standpoint. They're capable of big plays. They're well challenged, right? They've already been to Southern and won a couple of, and very competitive with UAB, and they beat Miles pretty convincingly over the weekend. So we definitely have to produce. We're going to have to put up points. So it's good to get 33 points and see that we're capable. Having the two quarterbacks, I think where it's going to help now that we got film from this game is in the preparation of the other team. They understand that we got two capable quarterbacks. And the systems we run may or may not be similar based on skill sets, but none of that matters if we don't take care of two things. I'm fine with both quarterbacks. I do think there's a difference. I do have a preference. I'm not even going to say the preference right now. But I'm fine with where we are, but I understand moving forward, especially with this next game, receivers going to have to catch the ball no matter who's the quarterback. They're going to have to make plays, and that's been a consistent issue from game one. Even though some of the passes are slightly off, they hit you in the hand. You have to make the play. You can't drop them all. You got to make some of them, help your quarterback out. And then penalties. Again, this game reared its ugly head, and it was the timing of a lot of those penalties. They put us behind the chain on third downs, and there were discipline penalties. They weren't effort penalties. So this next game, we got to be cleaner. And I know we had some guys out, and I feel like this staff thing, once those guys come back in, then it infuses talent, experience, and all that. While that may be true, I don't know if that's still going to be enough. I feel like we're going to be in a shootout this next game. And so we have to be clicking on all cylinders. But in terms of a two QB system, it's not ideal, but it is what it is because it seems like the mind is made up in terms of QB1. And I don't want that to cost us when we have options. So that's my take.
Keith, what's your thought? Are the two quarterbacks? It's a real thing right now for FAMU.
It's a real thing, but I don't love it. I mean, but obviously, I grew up in the Billy Joe era. Kim Riley was the first head football coach I ever experienced that I can remember to date. But you're growing up in the Billy Joe era, and I think you mentioned it. Normally, by game 4, you kind of knew who the quarterback was. And I don't like it, largely because I see the upside of both quarterbacks. I see where one quarterback, he's more on time. He's maybe a little more accurate than the other, but I see where the other one is more cautious with the ball. He's more careful. He does read the game a lot slower. But the big thing is that I'm really hoping for the production increase because, as you mentioned, the drop balls are huge. Like you have receivers, and I saw, some of the passes are contested. They're not all uncontested, but the ball's hitting them in the hands. And when you play receiver, if the ball touches you, it's best if you catch it because either way you're gonna get hit. So and you're gonna black out anyway. You're not gonna feel it. Like I really hate this. I really hate to be that honest about football, but 9 times out of 10, when somebody hits you, you really don't feel it. You just you're out and then you back up for the next play. So, but when you're looking at it, RJ's got to get rid of the ball quicker. He's got to be more decisive, and it has to be something where you continuously saw some of those abilities to get the ball downfield later in the game. That wheel route is something he's been able to hit. It was dropped by I believe Thad drops that at FAU, and this game. And Al Howard, yeah. And so it's like that's a route he likes. He likes the tunnel screens with RJ. Whereas, when you're looking, with Jet, the offense opens up a little bit more as far as attacking the seams. And then some of those shorter routes come open and they get hit a little more often, especially like the slants and those things like that, because he's more decisive. And so I think that's one of the benefits of having two quarterbacks is kind of being able to see that, hey, we got two guys that are options, but I'm like you, Kelvin, you need to pick one. And, I'm okay with the two quarterback thing, but, either go to the bathroom or get off the pot at this point, because you can't run this offense and get behind, let RJ kind of get in there, then throw Jet in there, let Jet kind of get you to getting caught up, and then put RJ back in there, because offensively, that's just not a good system, and it doesn't promote consistency. It promotes some of the problems you have as far as, again, holding penalties, other things. It adds up. So, I don't like the two quarterback system. I do have my preferred favorite, and y'all know it's Jet. But it's not that I don't like RJ. I think RJ has his ups, but I think I've seen a little more in those moments, especially in the second quarter. I don't value a lot from the FAU game because the talent disparity was just huge. So whereas, and even when he did come in, he threw a dime. It just got knocked down. It's good coverage. So I think against FAU, you saw some cool things, but I would like to see what he could do against a team that's at the same level.
Well, Coach Colsey has picked a quarterback. You said pick one. He has picked one. There's a large percentage. I don't know what. I'm not going to run a poll. If I wanted to be that guy, I'd run a poll and say, who do you want? But I'm not going to do that. Because I don't think it's productive. But here's what I'll say though. The one thing that impresses me statistically about RJ is he's had 3 clean games statistically. Now, I know if we want to go with potentially what could have been, sure, you could find some things. But at the end of the day, what's on the ledger is no interceptions, no fumbles lost. Okay. And then also while you guys were talking, I glanced over in the SWAC and just took a glance at the team quarterback, because just like yesterday, right? You look at yesterday or Saturday's stats from the quarterback position, 26 of 36, 371 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know what those are great numbers from the quarterback position, and that's 2 guys.
High percentage. Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
High percentage.
Exactly.
And some of that is also, as much as folks want to bash, you got to give credit to the offensive coordinator for calling plays that he knows are going to fit the skill set of his quarterback.
Yeah. Within the SWAC, we are the 3rd best passing offense right now. And what's funny is I'm just looking at an average per game. We're sitting at 260.3 yards per game, which is tied with Alabama A&M and 2 yards behind Alabama State, who we see in a couple of weeks. Now, from a yardage perspective, again, total yards, we're sitting right there neck and neck with both of the Alabama schools. The biggest separation is Alabama State has kind of added the passing touchdowns. I mean, obviously, Body had a 4-touchdown day in week 1. And then I think last week against Miles, I think he might have threw for like 3 or 4. So the passing touchdowns is completely different. But from just a numbers perspective, right, we're getting good play from the quarterback position, right? And then I just go to look
sacks. Somebody brought up them sacks.
Yes, now sacks are, but I'm going to say as long as the sacks aren't turning into fumbles. I mean, RJ's taken 3 sacks. That's 3 too many, maybe. But he's not losing the ball, So I'm not, guys. I'm on the RJ Johnson side right now, and it's not that I don't want to see. I see what all of you see in Petty. I really do. I see what all of you see. But I don't see RJ doing such a bad job that it warrants moving off of him completely. You know what I'm saying? And so I think if the play calling is going to call plays that suits RJ's game, then we're going to roll with it. I'm okay. I see what I see, But
to your point, Bryan, we talked about the SWAC numbers. Let me give you another SWAC number. 2-9, I think, out of conference. The 2 wins are like D2 wins. the SWAC is not very good, not a very good conference.
No, it's not a very good conference.
The Hampton win don't even look at like it no more.
No.
Hampton just lost to A&T.
Right. And when I said that, I was being mean when I said that game was unimpressive, but I was being mean.
So
but
you're right. And that what gives me hope, honestly, moving forward, is that, you know, competing in the SWAC, it looks very manageable because nobody's killing it at this point.
Yeah.
Outside Albany State, Alabama State is the only team in the SWAC from an offensive standpoint that looks like a juggernaut.
Yeah. And my only concern with that is, and part of why I have a sense of urgency is we've got our SWAC hours, right? Like, you know, and y'all seen the video, you know, y'all know how I feel about FAMU and the SWAC, but we've got our SWAC hours. We also have been in the SWAC long enough to know one loss in the SWAC, as long as FAMU is here, pretty much kicks you out. Like if you lose one game in this division, I can't say on the other side.
Yeah.
On the east side,
yes,
that's it. That's your button.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
That's why it probably sounds like, oh, keep you chill, relax. No, there is no chill, because if you lose one game on the east side of the SWAC, you're hoping to go to the playoffs. So it's one of those things where you can't fall forward with this.
The East is tough in general. The East is tough with the fact that Alabama A&M now is a legitimate team, I think.
Yep.
And I said preseason, I told you that my dark horse team was A&M. So it's a four. It's no longer just a 2-team race. It is a 4-team race, and we have to play 3 good games against Jackson State, Alabama State, and Alabama A&M. And I think whoever out of that comes out either 2-1 or 3-0 is going to end up winning the East. At least be the front runner, because look,
fair.
I know we want to discount the West, but hey, whoever has to run into Prairie View or Texas Southern might find themselves. I know you're shaking your head, but
I wasn't impressed with Texas Southern this weekend.
Well,
they got
weekend,
B2.
I mean, look who they play, Keith. I mean, come on now. Take that in consideration.
They lost to PV too.
Yeah, the West
on the last second play. The
West is the West. Stick with East.
Well, but bigger point is we're 3 weeks into the season, first quarter of the season, and I just don't know if if we need to be in panic mode about the future after 3 weeks. Okay, we got the win out of the way, and yes, we lost on a last second field goal. It sucks, a game that we probably should have won, but
it's not panic mode though. It's as analysts, you're talking about what we put on film, and what we have put on film is inconsistency.
Well, fans
and up until this last game, we had only scored collectively 23 points.
Correct.
Right. And you talked about we ain't turning the ball over. So why are we struggling so much to put points on the board? So it's reasonable to have that conversation.
And you dominated time of possession in one of those games. So, again, the concern is more so, and it's less because of everything else. It's because of where you're at. Because, first game 1, you're playing against the most prolific offense in the SWAC right now. And so that's a concern for me, because it's like, I saw somebody put it up there earlier. Look, the defense ain't look spectacular. When we switched to that 3-3-5, it don't work. It's not working as well. And some of that's just due to talent.
Yeah, we're not getting pressure.
Yeah, we're not getting. Hold on. Before we go to defense, one other big glaring issue that we got to talk about on the offensive side in Saturday's game, and then we saw it a little bit on the FAU game, but really it was bad, was the drops.
Yes.
The wide receiving core. I saw Troy in the chat say that the total was 8. I don't know. I didn't see the official stats, but if it was 8 drops, man, and 2 of those drops cost us touchdowns. One big time touchdown was blown on a drop. An RJ Johnson pass to a receiver.
Yes. Best pass of the night. Yes.
The best pass of the night. I mean, it was a dime. It should have been a Sports Center highlight, the way he put that ball out there and put it out in front of him, and it was just in the breadbasket, and then it wasn't. I don't know if many of you didn't see post game, but offensive pass coordinator and wide receivers coach Vincent Jeffries had the wide receivers running 50-yard sprints during the fifth quarter. I mean, literally, while the bands are playing in the fifth quarter, the entire wide receiving core was running sprints for literally 15 minutes. And to me, that signaled that, and I don't know whether that came at the behest of Colsey or whether that was just Coach Jeffries recognizing that, hey, guys, this isn't enough. You know, you guys, and we all talk about the standard being the standard. Well, if this is wide receiver HBCU by that name that I'm not going to say, then we got to catch the damn ball. We got to catch the ball. Period. You know, because 8 drops is 8 too many. And it wasn't just one guy.
And we just
talked 8 or 10. I thought it was more than that.
And we just talked about we only
Troy said 8.
Yeah, we only had 10 balls that weren't caught. If you look at so
right.
The ones that weren't caught was drops.
Over half of them were dropped. Yeah. Yes.
More than half. You think about it, like what, 75%? That's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, if 2 or 3 drops per game is realistic, but 8, 9, that, you know, we've said that kills drives, it kills momentum, and even within the stands, you know, man, when that deep ball was thrown, the whole stadium, RJ threw a dime. That thing was beautiful, and the whole stadium, we was up, and they dropped the ball. You heard the whole stadium
on their feet.
Oh, it lets the air out of the stadium.
I saw the receiver imply that the lights got in his eye and he couldn't follow. He couldn't find it.
That's what I would have said.
Yes. So I will say this: our receivers probably do need visors with the new lights, because I looked up a few times. I was like, God bless them, because it's hard to see in those new lights. I will say that.
Okay. I mean, I would have said the same thing, right? I said, "Oh, the lights in my eye." I don't know. It's understandable, right? Okay, sure. The lights. All right, there it is. Defensive side of the ball. Second game in a row, we've seen a team push us with tempo. FAU pushed us with tempo. Albany State did a really good job of pushing us, and they really seem to pick on some secondary guys. I got to make sure we give some love while we're talking about defense first and foremost. I got to make sure we give some love to Jamel Sanders, who was just named SWAC Defensive Player of the Week. He was all over everywhere. He was everywhere.
Didn't he get a stack up the game?
Yes, yeah. He had 4 solo tackles, 2 assists, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass breakup. And of course, you know, that sack that he had was a real pivotal sack at that point in the game when it occurred. He's a redshirt senior. And I forgot, where is Jamel from? Let me see how quickly I can pull up the roster here on Sanders. Sanders is a redshirt senior from Plainfield, New Jersey, a South Florida transfer. So, yeah.
So that's two USF transfers that I can think off the top of my head that are starting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, last year. So this is his second year as he came over last year. He was a redshirt junior. He came over last year. You know, had some good games, especially against Southern last year, but really has stepped in. 6'1", 195. So doing a great job. But getting back to the bigger point, defensively, seemed like we got picked on a little bit in the secondary. How was the pressure to you guys? Because that was a big issue for me against FAU. I don't think we got enough pressure. Did you like the kind of pressure that we got on Albany State, or was it still not to your liking?
It wasn't where it needed to be, but I also understand that we had about 3 interior linemen out on the defensive side. So that had an impact. Mm-hmm. And we started off with number 4, was that Norris at end?
Yeah.
That's one thing I picked up. I was like, wow, we got linebackers playing in this game. So I have a little grace for that. My biggest issue with the defense, a lot of folks go directly to the secondary, but I don't see enough activity from our D line for me. And that's interior and exterior. Now I know number one didn't play. We haven't seen Westmoreland the whole season yet, and then you had the two interior guys who weren't in there. So I get it, but we I just want them to be active, even if they don't dominate. Take up some blocks, move the quarterback out of their comfort spot. Make sure that you close those lanes, those running lanes, when you got quarterbacks who are run first, pass second. And I would like to see the DBs take away the first read. Most quarterbacks at this level, just like in high school, in the HBCU game,
did it rip out?
If you make them have to go to their second and third reads, then the pressure can get there. Mm-hmm. So that's that's complimentary football, and I got to see a little bit better effort on that.
Yeah, and I agree. For me, the pressure at first, it was frustrating, but I kept noticing we ran a 3-down front for the most of the game. So when you're running 3-down linemen, I'm not anticipating getting a lot of pressure. I think that's where a little more of the linebackers and the Fox roles, the Jamil Sanders, I think that's where they're going to come in as far as blitzing and showing some of those things, because I think you did adjust your defense. We've been a base 4-2-5 for a while, but we're showing a little versatility, and so I wasn't elated with the pressure, but I'm kind of like y'all, man. Like Poe number 16 got picked on a few times. Like Quinn Gray threw that deep ball to him once, and he's like, "Oh, you got away with that pass interference. All right, let's try it again." And the second time, the ref was like, "Yeah, I can't let you slide twice, dog. I got to throw that flag." Like, so I think, some of the things I saw in coverage, and I got to give credit, Fat Mouth, he saw it before I did. I think you may have to put some more people over the top. I know you're going to need a quarterback spy and some more guys, because you got to contain Andrew Body. But if you got receivers that are running past your DBs, and the DBs honestly can't keep up with them, you're going to have to give them some help from somewhere. And so that's going to be part of my question. And then later in the game, man, the tackling got sloppy. Like it wasn't even like, I know that's going to always be something we say, especially with this generation, but that there's one pass that my boy 21, it went right in front of him, and TJ hits the guy with a shoulder, ain't wrap up nothing. And the receiver's like, "Oh, you hit me? Good. I'm going to keep running." And he got another 10 yards. So I think some of that is also why you kind of see my boy Nayron get in later in the game, because Nayron was wrapping him up and bringing him down,
He was.
So I think that's going to be something where, that's got to be talked about, during practice. Like, hey, ball security is job security, but on defense, if you can't tackle, you can't play. And so that's, right. Like Nayron's, you may have to put Nayron as a middle linebacker who's more of a tackle guy, less of a coverage guy, just because of height and other things, and lean on, some of those other guys to fill in those maybe blitz and other roles. But, so those are some of the things defensively that I took away from. And, we already talked about the tempo. So we know Alabama State's going to probably be able to run it at tempo. But the question is, how comfortable are they going to be doing it? Because we've already said that, they got running backs that you need to pay attention to. They got a receiver that you need to pay attention to. But most importantly, they got a quarterback that can read the defense. And, I saw the comment about Quinn's play calling. Man, his play calling was spot on and really good. But one of the things Quinn Gray did a lot of was rolling the quarterback to one side of the field, which simplified the game for that quarterback. And so all of a sudden, he didn't have to read as much. But you also notice with FAMU's defense, when his read went away, he was all of a sudden like, okay, I got to look to the other side or I got to run. So, it's just some of the things that, go back and watch this on SWAC TV. They need to pay the OSG StrikeZone and Fangs up a little something for that free advertisement right there. But go watch it, and you'll probably be able to see it. Looks like the same stuff that Vaughn was doing on Rattlers Plus Fame, but it is what it is.
Hey, let me just add one other observation I've seen from one particular player multiple games now. Number 7, Powell. He's being positioned and he's in a trail position. I personally don't like trail position, but I know that's what they teach nowadays, where you get in the hip pocket of that receiver, but he never looks for the ball. He doesn't find the ball. and his teammates have to help him and let him know the ball is coming. And you can't turn around because it creates separation. But what you're supposed to do is look over the top and get your hands up. And both times he's gotten beat deep. It happened against Howard. It happened against, I think it happened all 3 games now. Where so people are running that same route looking for that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, he's in position, but he's got to find the ball.
Yep. And we got to fix that zone. That zone was getting eaten up. Like Quinn Gray was dialing up those slants like they was on like auto dial. Like literally, you was like, oh yeah, we running zone. Here come the slant. And so that's something else. I don't know if maybe that's something where, when you do have those 3 linebackers in the middle, do you need to have one of those linebackers come up and stay up, to challenge a little bit? So he kind of not only cuts that off, but also is kind of standing there as a spy. Not sure how you scheme that up right there. Not right now.
I know I was about to take a last break here as we get ready to try to close the show, but I saw a good question by EA bringing up the question about special teams. And his question more so centers to are we looking at our kickers, the punt? So I'll start by just saying I know the punt formation was a little better, no blocks, no intense pressure.
Right.
But also,
they didn't come.
What we did notice is, and he brings this up, he said, appears to be that our place kicker appears to be showing a tired leg already. Brought in 5 kickers, and we already only had 3 touchbacks in 3 games. Did you notice that our kickoffs went out of bounds not once, not twice, but I'm not mistaken, 3 times?
But I wonder on the one that went out of bounds now.
That was by design.
Yeah, I think I don't know why. Well,
you know why.
He wasn't trying to kick it out of bounds, but he was trying to kick it at an angle.
Right.
So that
because their kick returners were getting way too many yards.
Yeah.
And so that was an adjustment by
really getting the midfield. I mean, the furthest any of those special teams guys got was maybe the 35, 40.
No, they had a couple. They broke a couple.
Go back
they
and
broke
watch.
a couple.
They got about
40, 30, 35 is too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
But I did but the one thing I did know, speaking of that, was that it's not getting to the end zone right now.
Yeah. That part. Not getting to the end zone. And while we're talking special teams and special teams coverage, I don't know what happened after Albany State had scored that touchdown to cut it to 33-25. They went onside kick, and I don't think our recovery. I don't think they didn't see it. They didn't. Yeah. I would like to think they were coached it.
They had it set up.
They had a setup. We got lucky that they jumped off sides because they very much should have and probably would have recovered the ball in the 4th quarter. And again, down 8. Had they recovered it and not jumped off sides, they would have had a chance to go down for a potentially tying score.
Yeah.
And we've struggled with 2-point conversions this season.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and to that point, the one criticism, because overall I thought the game was an okay game, but the one thing that has been consistent in all 3 games, timeout management. It's awful, man. We taking timeouts coming out of breaks and TV breaks and 4th downs, and because we can't get lined up
out a few times.
Yeah, because we can't get lined up. Our time management we gotta coaches, we gotta tighten that up.
Yeah, it does have to get a little bit better. I won't disagree with you there. All right, we're coming back with grades right on the other side of this break, as we like to do. Grades, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching grades coming up on the other side for the game against Albany State. You guys can drop your letter grades in there for whatever unit. And hey, since we got a win, we can finally talk about player of the game, offense and defense and player of the game. I feel like we have to, right? We won a game, so we got let's give a game ball, offensive and defensive game ball. So there you go. You guys got something in the chat room. Oh, Adrian Cook already dropping He's a hater.
That's it.
That
That's
might
a
be
troll,
for his
yeah.
squad. That might be his team.
Hello?
His team might get that
Hello?
D-. Hello. Hello. All right. Let's take that short break. Come back. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Be back in just a moment. This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com. ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Monday night review, FAMU versus Albany State. Rattlers with a 33-25 victory. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Keith Hadley of Fangs Up Podcast joining us here. Just want to remind everybody, as you can see, you can always leave a super chat if you're on the JBN online. You can drop a super chat or hit that Cash App right there. My JBN, my BCSN. All of it helps us. We kind of scouted the location after game 1. Who knows? We might be able to set up in a certain spot or two. Might be able to drop a pregame show live from Bragg in 2 weeks. But we got to have a little bit of help. So all of the donations and the help goes into that, and we appreciate all of your guys' support. The thumbs up, the like, following the BCSN Pod Zone, downloading, subscribing, rating, and review all helps the algorithms. All right, gentlemen, grade time. Time to give some grades out. Before we give the grades, let's go players of the game. Game balls. Let's go game balls first. Game balls before we go grades. Keith, offensive, defensive game balls. Who you got?
Man, offensive, I ain't gonna lie. Look, I ain't no hater or nothing, but I'd probably say RJ. I mean, while as much as I am a proponent for, hey, I would like to see Jet start, I think RJ's second half and him scoring those 2 touchdowns was enough to give him the game ball. I think defensively, it's got to be Sanders. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Week for the SWAC, but that linebacking crew deserves a little bit of recognition too for those who stepped up in the second half.
Yeah, What about you, Kelvin? Game ball, offense and defense.
So offense, I would give it to Canary Wilcher. You know, he had 5 catches, 121 yards, TD, that long TD, 71 yards. It gave us the first lead of the game. So that's my offensive player. Defense, let's go with Nayron, I think. You know, he didn't get as many reps as he normally get. They rotated a lot of guys, but he still finished with 3 solos, 2 assists. He had a tackle for loss. Yeah. So he was, when he was in there, he was impactful. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because the two biggest hits came from Sanders and Jenkins. Both of them had the 2 most woo hits of the game, you know, the woo hits or whatever you want to call them. You know, we might have a new segment called the woo hit of the day, because those were the 2 hits those guys put on, which were definitely the most impressive. You guys, I don't know. Just to be a little different, I don't know if it's contrarian, but I'll go Thad. I'll give Thad his props. Let me pull up, I think the official numbers for Thad. 15 carries, 76 net yards, 2 touchdowns. The average of 5.1 is what I love. That's what I love, which means if Thad gets 20 touches, come on, that's 100. That's 100 easily. I'll give it to Thad. I thought he ran hard and just really, really impressed with his performance. Tony agrees. He's dropping Thad in there. EA agrees with you guys with the RJ love. Let me see. I think Kenya dropped in there. Let me see. Kenya said offense Thad, defense Jamil. So let me see. Tony also said Sanders on defense. I think all in all, good stuff there. Congratulations. We'll see. I know they'll do something at the 220 quarterback club, the Eddie Jackson 220 quarterback club with the game balls. But one day we're going to work ourselves up to having a O&G Monday night, an O&G Fangs Up podcast game ball, you know, and so we're going to work our way up to that one day. All right, it's time for grades as we get ready to close the show. What we like to do is give some grades: offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. So, Kelvin, why don't you lead us off with? Let's start with. I'll let you whatever you want to start with. Whichever unit you want to start with. We'll leave coaching last, though.
Man, I'm finna shock some people.
Ooh,
I'm starting off with offense. They get A-.
Oh yeah, I am shocked. Shocked.
Over 30 points. And the only reason they get in the minus is because of the drops. But over 30 points. The quarterbacks were very accurate with the ball. So there was not a lot to pick apart. That you just said average 5.1 yards carrying. So it was a lot of good production out of the offense. So they get A- for me. Am I doing the defense too?
No. Let's go around the horn. Keith, go ahead. We got offense.
I'm with Nehemiah on the offense. I'm gonna go B, but I'm gonna give a B plus. I think the only reason I dropped down to a B, it's the drops, but it's also that first half. I mean, that first half, you know, you really look lethargic until you do a quarterback swap, and then you do another quarterback swap.
It wasn't the first half; it was the first quarter. To be
first quarter, yeah. So and so it's like, and then once you get Jet in there, you get a little spark, and then you come back third quarter, first play, RJ hits something. So I'm gonna give him a B plus today.
That's good stuff. I just had to break out the calculator, make sure I did this right before I decide whether I'm going B plus or A minus. I'm going A- too. 26 of 36. That's 72%. I'm pretty smart. I know that's a heck of a
with A drops.
With drops.
Yeah.
With 8 drops, right? 10 incompletions, 8 drops. That's a pretty good job by the quarterback room. So, I'm going to say, the quarterback room carried us to the A. The offensive line and Thad Franklin did a great job. Guys the receivers who caught it when you caught it, you did a good job. But yeah, so I definitely go A-. All right, Keith, you get the first lead on this one. Defense or special teams? Which one you want?
I'll go defense. Just keep things in order. Defense, I'm gonna go C+. Just because we gave up some big plays and later in the game, and I understand some of that is just due to like you're really on your fourth or fifth defensive line group there, but you kind of got a little lax as far as stopping the run. So C+, but it could have been a B if we made a few more tackles and we probably didn't get some of those penalties, namely pass interference penalties.
What you got, Kelvin?
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. I'm gonna go C+. Had we not gave up that late touchdown, then it would definitely have been a solid B for me. But I'm gonna go C+, because I just respect what Quinn did and the caliber offense that they run. They got talent. They got enough talent and creativity where they can be problematic. I got to give. They made some plays, and they sometimes the other team's gonna make plays. So yeah, they get a C+ for me.
I'm I'm probably a little more optimistic. I'll go B-, and I'm going B-, because as you just said, I know people want to downgrade and say they're going up against a D2 team, but pay attention. Don't be surprised at the end of the year if this is the D2 team that is in the running for Division II Black College National Champion. And then at the end of the year, what might we be saying about this team a little bit differently? And I know we gave up that late score, but man, they were well coached, well organized, put together well. They didn't kill themselves. I just think we played a good offensive unit, and we still managed to hold them. What was the total numbers again? Total team numbers?
Yeah, 300 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, held them under 321. Tell them to 321.
That's still a C.
Yeah, that's a C. That's a lot of yards.
I got B-. I got B-. I'm going B-.
I want to see though. Do they play Edward Waters? That's I check the schedule, but
yeah. Special teams. Quickly, special teams. What do you got?
Special teams. That's a C. We made a field goal. Our kickoff coverage wasn't great. We didn't get the ball to the end zone kickoffs, which was what we were expecting. Punting, we didn't punt a lot, to be honest, but we didn't average 40 yards. So yeah, it's a C.
That's the unit that I'm giving the C- to. That, I mean, with the exception of the unit forcing that fumble on the kickoff return, I was not happy, not impressed with the punting game wasn't great. The field goal unit wasn't great. I mean, the onside kick thing, we got lucky that they jumped off sides.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, that's special teams wasn't special for the third consecutive week. That worries me. I can hear Kofi now. I can hear Kofi in heaven screaming because look, remember that championship year? That's what he talked about. He talked about that to Blue in the face, and that thing came up to bite us in the rear when we went to the playoffs in Southeast Louisiana. So if any unit, I would hope gets tight over the next couple of weeks is special teams. I hope our special teams gets tighter.
70.5, Doc, because you have. So, and it's darn near a D. Like, I really want to give you a 68 because I don't give out 69s. But I really want to go like 68.5 because that punt that ends up on the 1 yard line, you can argue that the returner should have picked that up. You have multiple back-to-back kick out of bounds. Their return team was getting some decent returns. Like field goal wise wasn't spectacular. So it wasn't special. It was just kind of there. And, like you said, with that, despite if somebody isn't offsides, it might be a different game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Marcus jumped special teams a C. Blocked the extra point, gave up at least 3 explosive returns, did have a couple of field goals, unprepared for onside kick. Couldn't have said it better. Shout out to Marcus. All right, last category here, coaching. Coaching category. All right, Keith, I'll let you start it. Guess first.
I'm going to go C+, largely because I felt like he got outdueled by Quinn, and that's not a slight on Quinn, but I felt like offensively, and I'll give credit, I saw it somewhere else, I think if talent was equal, I don't think you win this game. And so C+, defensively, you got blasted a little bit. Offensively, you had some good moments, but with the receiver room kind of being what it was. But overall, I gave it a C+. I can't drop it down to like a C- or elevate it quite to a B. You scored the points you needed. You came out with a win.
You want me to go, Kelvin, or you want to go?
Go ahead. Yeah, you go.
I might shock you here. Because I am giving credit to what we did going into halftime and the adjustments that we made. And I think that pushed our second half adjustments pushed us to the B- from a C+ for me. I like what we did in the third quarter. Down 4 points. Late in the second quarter, don't forget. I mean, we were very fortunate that Albany State didn't score a touchdown, didn't get a field goal, and they were inside the 30. So we were very fortunate to come out of the end of the first half down 4. We responded, punched them in the mouth, and I thought so. Whether we, the combination of Colsey and Burris from the offensive standpoint, the defense doing the job. I'm going to go B-. I mean, there's always room for improvement. Wasn't the greatest. And I'm not going to even come with the angle about the Quinn Gray angle that you mentioned. Cause look, Quinn is a good coach, man. Quinn is a good coach. He had a good game plan. He studies his opponent. He studied us well. He knew what he could and couldn't do. He knows what he has, and I do think there is something to that. Knowing what you have and being able to call plays, knowing and having full confidence in your QB signal caller. I think we're still working up to that. B- for me. What you got, Kelvin?
I'm going C+. We got the win. And offensively, we did get it rolling eventually. Concerns, again, time management. We seem like we're always using timeouts, and it's for dumb stuff. Got to clean that up. And special teams not being prepared for the onsides and not being able to get lined up for the 2-point conversions, as well as that one of those touchdowns that they scored with tempo. We done seen enough tempo over the last 2 weeks. We should be a little better than that. But I do understand we had some guys out, so I'm taking that into consideration. So C+.
All right. I don't know if we do a Monday night review next week because it's a bye week. I don't really know what we. I mean, sure we could come up with something. I mean, because I know there's a thirst to talk about something, but this has always been a game-based show where we review the game, and we got a bye week this weekend. So unless we were going to jump off the deep dive and really analyze the first 3 games, which I don't know. I don't know the merits of doing that. Maybe you guys will convince me otherwise. But we may not have a show next Monday, and we'll save a show for a Monday night review after the Alabama State game. So make sure you are following us on all social media handles, on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube and Facebook pages, and we'll let you know. we'll let you know if we're going to do something. If not, you can count and find us on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the Black College Sports Network. You can find Keith's next show on Thursday night. Fangs Up Podcast is where you can find it. Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern is where you can find Keith. And Kelvin, any what's the guest lineup looking like for Wednesday?
We got Amber Fullwood, who's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm debating whether we bring on Nick this weekend or next Wednesday. Nick Eaton has committed. Nick Eaton.
Oh,
okay. I thought it was. I was looking. I was like, oh.
No.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute, who? Okay. I might want to save that for next weekend.
Yeah.
But maybe we can. We need to call up. Maybe we can find out what. Maybe we can get some volleyball talk. If we can get one of our volleyball players in on the show, maybe we can go that route and talk volleyball on the next show. So, all right, Keith, anything you're working on in between now and Thursday?
Now and Thursday, not really too much. I'll go ahead and let the cat out the bag. Fat Mouth and myself, we are probably doing a little mashup on Thursday. So we'll probably push some of the recruiting talk to Sunday, which I really love because that gives me more time to make graphics and other things and more time for us to offer more kids. So, looking forward to it. With Fat Mouth and Sports and I, we've done a little mashup in the past before. So it's always good times when it's not just you on the show. And, when you ain't got to run it, you kind of throw your hands back. That's always fun too. So, Thursday, myself, Fat Mouth Sports, supposed to do a little mashup. But we're going to talk about some of these recruits. FAMU football dropped about I've seen 3 offers in the past about 24 hours, especially coming right off of the win at home. So, interested to see how that goes. And also really looking to see what's going to come about from softball and volleyball. Softball, you've had potential recruits. I don't want to say the recruits at the softball camps coming up. So, see if any of these girls get some offers and continue to see basketball there. Because one of the things that was really nice to see this weekend was the FAMU coaches supporting FAMU football. Coach Pressure was there. Look, I saw her before the game, and I saw her after the game. I saw Coach Ward there. He stayed the entire time, and they were there after the game too. So, really interested to see what some of these, some more of these offers are going to look like that are coming out.
Did you see that 5-star and 4-star that Coach Ward and Coach Lass had on the sideline?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they've done the visits. This is an exciting era for FAMU athletics as far as basketball, and you're really hoping the football can stay on top, because if we can get both revenue producing sports to be in a nice little sweet spot, that can be a really fun time that we haven't really seen at FAMU since the Billy Joe era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hump era. Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody for joining the show tonight. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media handles. You know where to find Keith. Fangs Up Podcast is where you can find him. Go check out the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Download, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Congratulations to Coach Cozy and the Rattlers for getting win number 1. 1 down, several more to go. And coming out of the bye, we've got Alabama State in less than 2 weeks. So good stuff, great stuff. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. See everybody on Wednesday night. For Keith and Kelvin, I'm Bryan. Fangs up, everybody. Make sure to strike, and strike again. Peace out.